Let us read Proverbs 20, verse 5. The purpose in a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. A traveler once stopped in a small village where the only source of water was an ancient well at its edge. It looked dark and uninviting. Unsure whether the water was safe, he hesitated. An elderly villager noticed his uncertainty and drew up a bucket of clear, sparkling water for him. Smiling, she said, "You cannot judge a well by looking at its surface. You must draw from its depth to know what it holds." That simple moment captures the truth that much of life cannot be understood by what appears on the surface. Deep beneath calm expressions, polite speech, and respectable behavior lie the heart's motives, fears, wounds, hopes, and desires. Scripture reminds us that the deepest realities are often drawn from concealment only through wisdom. The heart is the center of thought, will, intention, and desire. Like a deep well, the inner life is not visible from the surface. To the ancients, the hidden water under the earth symbolized the element that was life-giving, yet difficult to access without patience, effort, and the right tools. Even so, human motives and purposes are layered and complex, even from the owner. Fear, pride, emotional wounds, ambition, and unexamined desires can bury truth beneath layers of self-justification. Yet, a person of understanding can draw out these deep waters. By careful listening, thoughtful questioning, wise observation, and deep reflection, we can help others to uncover their true motives. He can offer wise counsel and identify what is really happening beneath the surface. He also turns inwards to examine his own heart with the help of the Spirit of God, trying to understand what deep purpose drives his actions and attitudes. True knowledge involves understanding motives. Proverbs 23:7 reminds us that a person thinks in his heart, so is he. Our inward thoughts and beliefs shape our character and ultimately our actions. Scripture warns us, the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind. Jeremiah 17:9-10. We can easily deceive ourselves into believing our intentions are pure. We rationalize self-motives, disguise pride as conviction, and mask insecurity with confidence. But God fully understands the hidden motives shaping our lives. A person guided only by human reasoning tends to judge based on appearances and performance. But God reminded Samuel, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Without spiritual illumination, we see only the surface. The Apostle Paul expands this truth by describing the spiritual person as one who sees life from God's perspective. 1 Corinthians 2:15. Such people discern spiritual truth, recognize what truly matters, and see beyond appearances and worldly standards. To be filled with the Spirit is to have the mind of Christ, His love for God, His humility and submission, and His truth. This does not mean knowing everything. It means aligning our thinking with His priorities and viewing life through the lens of redemption. The human heart is best revealed by its response to Jesus Christ. Simeon prophesied that through him the thoughts of many hearts would be revealed. Luke chapter 2:34 and 35. Some opposed the Christ bitterly, holding on to their power, position, and prestige. Others embraced him wholeheartedly. Yet, he does not change. People's responses to him reveal what lies within. Light exposes darkness, and darkness resists the light. John 3:19-20. In encountering Christ, pride is exposed, hypocrisy uncovered, and self-interest confronted. No one remains neutral before him. He is a revealer of truth and the turning point of human destiny. Through his indwelling presence, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Colossians 1:27. Hidden realities are brought into light. Seeing beneath the surface is not natural to us. From childhood, we learn to manage impressions and present acceptable versions of ourselves. We bury, without examination, the raging fires within us, the desire for approval, fear of rejection, hunger for control, or the pride of self-righteousness. Even our good works are spoiled by mixed motives. We may serve to attract praise, defend truth to protect our reputation, or pursue excellence to satisfy our inferiority complex. The surface may appear admirable, while deeper waters remain unsettled. Wisdom invites patient self-examination under the light of God's truth, with quiet perseverance, honesty, and courage. Spiritual growth begins when we ask deeper questions. Why did that criticism unsettle me so deeply? Why do I feel threatened by another's success? Why do I seek recognition for what should be offered quietly to God? Why do past wounds shape present reactions? When truth surfaces, healing can begin. Wise and godly mentors often see patterns we cannot recognize in ourselves. Their insight, offered with grace and patience, can help us grow in self-understanding. Receiving such guidance requires humility and courage. Spiritual discernment also reshapes how we see others. When we realize that every person carries unseen burdens and hidden struggles, we become slower to judge and quicker to extend grace. What appears as arrogance may conceal insecurity. What seems like indifference may mask disappointment. What looks like anger may hide deep pain. Seeing beneath the surface replaces criticism with compassion. This perspective transforms relationships. Instead of reacting merely to words and behavior, we begin to listen for what lies beneath them. We become attentive rather than reactive, patient rather than dismissive. In doing so, we reflect the heart of Christ, who saw beyond appearances and responded to deeper needs. True worship flows from inner reality. The worship in the spirit and not outwardly, in truth and not for pretense. Worship is not merely spoken words or outward ritual. It is the offering of a heart that loves and honors God above all. When hidden motives are surrendered and inner life is brought into light, worship becomes sincere and transformative. William Temple once described worship as a submission of our entire being to God. Conscience awakened by His holiness, mind nourished by His truth, imagination purified by His beauty, heart open to His love, and will surrender to His purpose. The journey of seeing beneath the surface is not about harsh self-analysis or constant suspicion of motives. It is about living truthfully before God. Hidden motives lose their power once exposed. Confessed pride gives place to humility. Acknowledged and surrendered fear is replaced by trust. Instead of self-centered ambition comes clear purpose. In a world that prizes image over integrity and performance over reality, the call to inner truthfulness is both countercultural and liberating. God is not impressed by outward polish. He delights in sincerity. He does not reject the broken heart, but restores it. Let us open our hearts to His searching spirit. Let us welcome His correction without defensiveness or despair. And when we discover within ourselves motives that are mixed or misdirected, let us bring them honestly to Christ. He does not expose in order to shame, but to heal. In His presence, the depths of the heart become not a place of fear, but of transformation. Let us extend grace to others, remembering that visible actions never tell the whole story. As we move through our daily lives, let us pay attention to our inner life. Let us ask for understanding of our own and others' hearts, so we may be aligned to His purposes and His will. Then our lives will overflow with sincerity, clarity, and grace. God bless.